Welcome to the Reading Disabilities module. Looking ahead. In this module, we will begin by discussing the relationship among the terms specific learning disability, reading disability, and dyslexia. We will define what reading disabilities are and talk about how brain imaging has enhanced our knowledge of reading disability and, more importantly, reading intervention. Reading disability, often referred to as dyslexia, is one of several different types of specific learning disabilities. The majority of students who have learning disabilities have difficulty learning to read. Smaller percentages of students with learning disabilities have difficulty with mathematics, dyscalculia, and writing, dysgraphia. Approximately 1 out of 10 students have a reading disability. The terms reading disability and dyslexia can be used interchangeably. These terms refer to a condition that is neurological in origin and is characterized by difficulties with accurate and fluent word reading. Many individuals with reading disabilities will also have difficulty with spelling, language comprehension, and written expression. These difficulties are not caused by visual acuity problems, lack of or poor reading instruction, or low intelligence. That is, reading disabilities are not caused by problems with vision or how the eyes work. Special glasses or eye training will not help individuals with dyslexia. Also, many people believe that people with dyslexia read backwards or the letters jump around on the page visually. While it is true that some individuals with dyslexia will consistently mix up their P's, B's, D's, and Q's, the true difficulty lies within their ability to process the sounds of language. We often refer to students with learning disabilities as having unexpected difficulty with learning. These students are otherwise bright, contributing ideas or coming up with creative problem-solving approaches, but experience frustration and difficulty decoding the words on a page. So reading disability is neurological in origin and makes it difficult for otherwise bright individuals to learn to read. But what exactly is going on in the brains of individuals with dyslexia? The majority of people with reading disabilities have difficulty with phonology. These individuals have difficulty with processing the sounds of language. Here are some brain scans that show how these differences appear. First, here's a picture of a brain of a person without a reading disability. Notice that 3 areas of the brain are activated: Broca's area, the parieto-temporal lobe, and the occipitotemporal region. Note that each of these areas perform a slightly different function to assist with reading. When a person without a reading disability reads, blood flows to these areas, and this activity can be detected using fMRI technology. The more blood that flows to the area, the bigger the circle and the more work that is being done in this area. In contrast, we can look at the brain of a person who has a reading disability. Notice that we see only one area activated, Broca's area. Thus, a person with a reading disability is attempting to do a very complex task, connecting sounds with letter formations, interpreting those sounds, and associating meaning with those sounds, without the support of the other regions of the brain. Here is one final view of the brain. Keep in mind that these are simplistic graphics, but they capture the essence of what has been demonstrated in neurological studies. In this image, on the left, we see a side view of the brain, and on the right, a view of the brain from the top. In the lateral view, we are looking at the left side of the brain. It is easy to remember which side of the brain is primarily activated during reading by thinking left equals language. Let's look at the top of our image. Here's a graphic of a brain without a reading disability. You will see that, indeed, predominant activation during reading is occurring on the left side of the brain. Now let's look at the brain of a person with dyslexia. Here you will see that parts of the right side of the brain are activated during reading. So what does all of this brain imaging research mean? Brain imaging is exciting because 1, it verifies the relationship between phonological differences and difficulty with learning to read, and 2, it has allowed us to test the effects of specific reading interventions in relationship to brain functioning. Studies have shown that when students with reading disabilities are provided with reading instruction that emphasizes phonology and decoding, their brain imaging scans show significant normalization. Here's a quote from one such research study. "Our findings show that successful completion of an intensive remediation program in reading is associated with dramatic changes in brain activation profiles in children with very severe reading difficulties. These changes in activation are sometimes referred to as brain malleability or neuro-brain plasticity, and show that intensive reading instruction results in previously unactivated regions activated during reading." So let's review what we know about reading disability. A reading disability is one specific learning disability that is also referred to as dyslexia. It is neurological in origin and results in difficulty with accurate and fluent word reading, and can also influence language comprehension, written expression, and spelling. It is not a problem with how one sees, but how one processes the sounds of language. And neuroscience has shown that intensive reading instruction has the power to rewire the brain and help students with reading disabilities become better readers. For more information on phonology and reading instruction for students with reading disabilities, please review the other modules in this series.